All right, I gave you a bit of a teaser at the outset, at the start of this bulletin, talking about the need to beware of people who wear helmets in Chennai. I'm joined live in our studio by Dr. Senthil Velan, an outstanding IPS officer, now Deputy Commissioner of Police of Adyar. Thank you very much, Dr. Senthil, for joining us in our studio. Also by Radha Shekhar. I could describe her as a half victim of chain snatching at one stage. Model coordinator and homemaker. Thank you very much indeed. But before that, let's go on to an important news story of the day. In fact, it's not just the price of gold that has climbed. Also, chain snatching incidents have seen a twofold jump in the last 1 month. Salim has more details.
The rise in the price of yellow metal is a golden opportunity for chain snatchers. In fact, it seems to be an added incentive to get down to the job and make more money. In the year 2009, the police registered 319 chain snatching cases, but it rose by 16% in the year 2010, with the police registering 370 cases. With gold offering better returns, women criminals too are getting more active. In the last 2 days alone, 2 cases of chain snatching by women were reported. Apart from women indulging in chain snatching offences, 20% of them are first-time offenders, college students. How do these criminals act? Police say they usually wear a helmet or a scarf, sport huge sunglasses, divert the victims by asking for directions, and quickly grab the chain and escape before the victim can react.
The number of incidents of chain snatching is on the rise, and the police see a correlation in the rising price of yellow metal with the spurt in such crimes.
It is a disturbing trend, and we also find students and people from different background who are involving in this crime, this opportunity crime, which basically for quick money for pursuing any luxury.
In the past, there was some talk of introducing pepper sprays across the counters so that the women can be armed. Meanwhile, police say that women's vocal cords can be a good deterrent. They want victims to scream at the top of their voice. In Chennai, with Salim, this is Ashmit Kumar for NDTV Hindu.
All right, Radha Shekhar, do you scream at the top of your voice? Is that the way you actually managed to deter that chain snatching incident? When did it happen actually?
Yeah, this happened 20 years back. We were going to the doctor through a lonely road, and I sensed one guy was coming on the cycle. I somehow sensed this guy is going to snatch my chain. So I just put my hand on my neck like this, and I got a hard blow on my hand. He hit me so hard that I just screamed out, and he just ran away, and I could be heard on the main road. And I drew attention, and so I saved my chain. All right, but I got a real knock on my neck.
All right, that's a trick really, Dr. Senthil Velan. Again, people also say that they can wear safety pins to ensure that it doesn't snap immediately if someone, is that also a precautionary measure you would advocate?
Yeah, definitely. But the first thing you do is you yell at the top of your voice. You raise a huge hue and cry so that you garner the attention of people around you. And the other ones are going to help you. And it's a request, probably you can say it's a duty on your part that in case somebody screams for help, you immediately rush in and probably need to help the victim. And normally people wait for contacting their relatives or their friends, and then they'll end up in the police station probably half an hour to 1 hour later.
Okay, that's one side of the story. The other side of the story, Dr. Senthil Velan, is that, to be fair, is that a lot of people, even recently we saw a case in Tambaram. This is, I mean, pun unintended, the golden hour when it comes to a traffic accident. Here again, the golden first few minutes.
Correct.
But when people go to police stations, the nearest police station to register their complaint, they are turned away, they are tossed around still, citing jurisdiction issues.
Not at all. I think we need not go to the police station at all. You give a call to 100 and we have a centralized control room which immediately alerts any of the patrol vehicles, and we worked out probably the nearest patrol vehicle reaches you in probably 5 minutes. So they'll be the first one who's going to intervene and probably do some sort of concrete step to, in order to apprehend the accused. So
this case is it's
call 100, dial 100, and probably that'll be the first thing to do.
All right.
And before that, you'll have to shout at the top of
shout
voice.
And call 100
yeah,
in that order.
Correct.
Dr. Senthil Velan, again, your commissioner called it a crime of opportunity. Women offenders, students. Now, fingerprints obviously wouldn't match with those of history sheeters. So, how challenging is it to actually zero in on the culprits?
Yeah, chain snatching is quite an old offense, but recent days it's definitely on the rise. One, because it's a low risk and high returns. Gone are the days when where you have the criminals who had to stay awake throughout the night, jump into the walls, and probably use tools to break open lockers and find that the coffers are empty. This is a low risk and a high return. You just need a good bike And these days, it's very easy to steal a bike.
In your district, in fact, in Adyar, a lot of these stolen vehicles have been used for such incidents.
Correct,
so what
correct.
are the real telltale signs? Because someone comes with a helmet, bad enough you can't identify the person because he's wearing a helmet. This is one case where you want people not to wear helmets, right? And then of course, either it's a false registration number or a stolen vehicle. So how do you then actually get at the real offenders?
It is challenging. It is challenging because of the number of stolen vehicles which are being utilized. But at least why should we lose out on an opportunity? The first thing a person does, you shout and call 100. And it is difficult, but most of the women have done it. They make it a point to note down the details of the assailant. The assailant details maybe what is
but happens in a flash of a second. I mean, somebody just
it has been done out of
right?
experience. I can tell you.
Heard, like, some people, one auto driver told me that one lady, when she was walking on the road, somebody threw acid on her eye and just took away her chain. Another lady was hit on the head with a log, and her chain was taken away.
I must ask you, I mean, as citizens, we also need to meet the police halfway. It's one thing to accuse them
But this is on a lonely road.
But why is that a lot of people, a lot of women particularly, flaunt their jewelry despite warnings? I mean, you tell people not to do things, they almost deliberately violate that. You've seen that even in biscuit gang on trains. Despite a massive awareness drive, people still would end up eating biscuits and then wake up after 48 hours in the nearest government general hospital. Why is that women flaunt their jewelry? Or do you see that changing today?
There is a changing trend, but there are some women who are very sentimental about their jewelry. Maybe not me, but there are many others. But that's one reason. Another reason, like you said, is flaunting their wealth, which I think should not be done.
Rather, the modus operandi today is, they say that, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Senthil, that these people strike usually between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m., particularly between 8:30 and 10 p.m. and ask for directions. So, would you think twice when someone approaches you from behind asking you for directions?
Definitely. I would keep my distance and then answer him even if he's genuine.
Actually, there are a few time spaces where it normally occurs. One, when the morning walk takes place, and then the afternoon, the lean hours, where the movement of public is generally low. And again in the evening, the walkers and joggers, and once it gets in dark, and probably up to 9:30, 10 is the risk, the high risk timings.
Also, it's important to catch these offenders because they are first timers, and some of them would actually go on to commit more heinous crimes if not caught, because they would get emboldened.
Correct. But ultimately, it boils down to the information which the complainant gives to us. They should make it a point to note down some feature. Maybe the shirt he's wearing, the trousers, even the vehicle. It's not always that it's a stolen vehicle. Probably the color of the vehicle, the make of the vehicle, the registration number if possible, and they do have some stickers or something which is unique to a vehicle. They should note it down, and probably the facial features. It has been done in quite a number of occasions. It has been helpful in the police, and we've used the complainants to build a portrait of the accused too. So that does help. That does help.
Okay, also now recently 4 youngsters from a couple of months ago came down from Delhi. They actually flew down from Delhi. So that gives you an indication of the socio-economic profile of today's chain snatchers. And they were staying in mansions. So are mansions now under the scanner?
No, mansions, normally we do a thorough check of the mansion on a periodical basis. We normally don't tell it in advance. And probably this visit from Delhi probably could be a one-off incident. In fact, if you go by statistics, in fact, in Adyar district, my crime profile is probably, we have 3 snatchings in my district per week. In Delhi area is you have Rohini police station hall, and a particular day you have 4 to 5 snatchings a day. So statistics wise, we are definitely on a better situation. But I think people shouldn't be bogged down by the statistics and rise. This could be attributed to the greater awareness of the public and probably the free registration of crimes. You get a complaint, you refuse to register it, automatically your statistics come down. So you get a complaint, you register it immediately, probably your statistics would go up. So people shouldn't be bogged down or probably get affected by the statistics. As long as we get more complaints, and it gives us a greater knowledge to probably have some intervention measures.
Sorry, what about also pawnbroker shops and jewelers also? Have you had a sort of meeting? I know the previous police commissioner reached out to various sections of society. Have you also taken the jewelers into confidence so that when people come to sell jewelry, that there's some sort of tab maintained? Yeah,
exactly. In fact, whatever initiative was taken is still being continued, and we make it a point to meet the pawnbrokers regularly, but most of them are good except for a few. They are the ones who deal with the regular property offenders. They are the receivers of stolen property, and they are on the continuous probably monitoring by the local police, and we do have meetings with them.
Rather, I mean, do you think it's advisable when you go for a morning walk, you really don't need to wear your jewelry? Or sometimes even when you go out shopping, would you now think twice before actually wearing jewelry? I'm not talking about flaunting, even wearing jewelry, given the incidence of chain snatching in the city now?
Yeah, we would. In fact, I used to think, people taking an auto or a bus or a cab to a wedding can keep their jewelry in a handbag and then wear it when they reach the wedding hall instead of just flaunting it on themselves. What do you think, sir?
Someone could even snatch your bag in that case.
No, but that's safer. At least it's not shown outside.
In fact, you can take adequate. In fact, it's a personal choice whether to wear jewelry or not. Probably you go for a wedding, you wear jewels, and that's what the accused say. And we normally target the people who have, and there are various methods of doing it. Probably like what you said, you attach a pin to it and you tie it to your clothes, and probably that would be a deterrent. Another thing is when ladies walk, they should ensure that they use the platform. It is practically impossible for a two-wheeler.
But where are the platforms, Dr. Senthil, today?
That's a part of the process. We are working in tandem with the traffic police and the corporation authorities. In fact, we have done evictions in quite a number of congested places.
Most places you see the platforms occupied by hawkers. There's a street light in the middle, or the road is dug up for something. So really, people have to walk, in the middle of the road, and that actually is a conducive atmosphere for these people to strike. Because you walk in the middle of the road side by side with the traffic.
Yeah, probably make it a point to walk to the most extreme part of your left. And in case two people are walking, normally the male component, they don't wear jewels. So probably they can walk to the right of the road and keep women.
It's also chivalrous to do that.
Chivalrous, and probably there's some signs of complacency on the men folk. We've heard of cases where the men's bracelets have been snatched, so that is also there. And a couple of instances where the men go ahead and the woman walks with the children behind, and we'll have to be alert to all that. In fact, a lady can judge. She should make it a point to, even when she's walking or doing a morning jog, she should make it a point to intermittently watch who's trailing her behind. Probably she should notice a person who's parked his bike and pretending to talk on his mobile phone.
Also, probably to take your mobile along with you and go wherever, even if you go for your morning walk.
Correct.
So sometimes you can even quickly take a picture or a video also of the.
That's what I exactly want. The people, once she shouts, the people in the vicinity, they make it a point to utilize their mobile phones and take a picture of the accused. That has really helped.
All right, interesting tips coming here from the top cop here, but we'll slide into a short break now. Coming up next, we'll ask him more questions, especially about the procedure to claim your stolen jewelry.